Why have you got nothing on?
Because I've got nothing on.
Well, I mean, we could probably charge for that.
No, we won't make a lot.
This will be interesting to see. Now we've got no Twitter. We'll get proper, actual viewing figures instead of it saying we've got 20,000 people watching.
Oh, because doesn't it count as Twitter viewing if you like get 5 seconds or something? So it's something daft like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Oh my
Speaking of the riots, did you see Alex yesterday outside McDonald's? Did you see the 5 people in St George's flags ready to protest outside of Blundell Park?
I saw a very nervous-looking Christine watching on, going, "My God, they better not be coming in." But yes, I did. They shouted at me and said, "We're here." I was, okay, good. You're at McDonald's. Great, Mike. What's wrong with your camera and microphone?
He's eating his tea, isn't he? He's like Jack. He's like, on the rare occasions that Jack graces us with his presence, and he's usually eating.
I mean, I think in fairness to Richard, he's done one podcast, and therefore some of the people who are in the group chat are in the group. You've done more than some of the people in the group chat since I started 2 years ago.
Oh, Sam, that's a pre-season dig. Bloody hell!
I wasn't listening. I was filling up my
do you feel the same way about them than Charles Vernon?
He's just outed half of the pod WhatsApp group for not coming on the pod.
Oh, Sam, who do you have beef with? Let's listen.
Oh, I've said what I'm saying now. You can make your own conclusions from that. But yeah, you've said you can draw your own conclusions from that. No, at least in answer to your question, Richard, about Charles Vernon, at least we're not paying the people in the pod chat. But unlike
hang on, let's have a look. WhatsApp web. Let's have a look who's in the group, and then Sam can say if he rates them or doesn't rate them.
I don't know. Do I? I don't know if I rate them or not. Because
okay,
can you rate them?
Who do you think is shirking, Sam? Who do you think deserves a Rees Mogg-esque note on their desk that says thanks for coming in?
Well, I think it's easy to talk about the people who are here, and all the people who are here are absolutely fine.
Oh,
Mew.
Thank you very much for everyone for joining the podcast meeting. Where usually I assume there is a WhatsApp group which I'm not in, and this is the conversations that go on in the background. And we should welcome officially our first signing of the summer, Richard Young, who has taken time kindly out of cheating me out of 240 quid or whatever it was at the Friends.
Cheated you? You was messaging us for answers on your phone.
With him in the group.
Yeah.
You were never winning that.
No. Didn't get any response either, did I?
It was a bit of a giveaway when your first message was, "What is Friends?"
What is Friends? Don't have any of them.
Or what are
That's
Friends?
What I use. That's what I use you all for. Good evening, everybody who's already said hello. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch now because Elon wants us to pay for Twitter Premium, and I don't really need to because I can just stand out in town and listen to the racism there than rather have to do it online. I'll be honest, you're all right. Northerners are far more friendly than they are down south. I was a minute out of the car at Asda, and at least 3 people came up to me and asked for a quid. So much friendlier than it is down here, I have to say. I don't know what your experience is like with that, Mike and Sam, the only two that can compare the two.
Yeah, people in the north are much more polite. They'd say hello when you walk in. They'll hold doors open for you, unlike down here where it's all kind of... Well, I don't know. You guys live a bit sort of... I live in a much more central part of London than you two. But my experience of it down here is everyone's much friendlier and more courteous and generous in the north of England.
Funny story, when I moved down here, I completely agree with that. I first moved down here, I got on the tube, as you do. I sat down and I just said, "Hey up" to someone. I said hello when I sat down, just being polite because sat next to me. They got up and moved.
That's because it was you that said it, Mike.
And I was told when I got home, it's because you don't talk to people on the tube. Now, when I took my wife up north, an old boy walked past us one Sunday morning on his way back from the paper shop. And he just said morning. I said morning back, and she was convinced I knew him. I'd never seen. So the difference in the north and the south was so rude, the north was so lovely.
And who would have thought that 10 or 12 years later you'd be doing a podcast with Alex?
I'll tell you something. The more I see of the people of Rotherham, the more friendlier they look, Mike.
Oh, don't. Oh, God.
Well, we should probably get into it at some point. Yes, welcome, Richard. You are more than welcome. Though Sam apparently will monitor your experiences and usage.
I've got plenty of time on my hands now, mate. So opposite to the.
Can I just say,
authoritarian, is it?
Is everyone enjoying my Maggie's tan as well? Because I was out in the sun for 2 days and now I am as brown as a.
Have you got a tan? Have you? Is that a tan?
I have, yeah.
I don't think that's a tan. I think that's a mild sheen.
Yeah,
I just thought it's just really sweaty in here. Yeah, it's sweaty in here. I was sweating last week.
The sun. Looks the same colour as my Ribena. I think you've just caught the sun a bit too.
It's lucky you've gone back down south, Alex. You won't get beaten up driving your BM down there.
No, that's true. No, that's true. I'll tell you what was really hot though. Those corporate boxes, they don't have aircon in. It was a warm evening in that. I know I'm not, I know the smallest violins out there, but it was warm.
I love the way you absolutely clanged in that you was in a corporate box. Yeah. Straight away there. No context at all, like straight in.
It was warm.
It was really hot. Them corporate boxes.
I've never seen the Pod WhatsApp. I've never seen the Pod WhatsApp that busy. Hannah went, sorry, mate, I've got a couple of seats in the boxes tonight if anybody wants one. And when Alex asks on a Sunday morning who wants to do the pod, there's like tumbleweed till he asks again at dinner. Who wants a seat in the box? Jack came back from Australia, especially.
I thought Joe Lycett had joined me in that box. He doesn't like that one, apparently.
Did he actually join you? Did he?
He did. Yeah, he was there.
I thought we was all taking the piss. No, that was actually right. Okay.
Yeah.
I bet he was actually. I bet he. To be fair though, I bet he didn't watch it with you. His head would have been on about the fourth row of the upper tier.
Yeah, they had to take out one of the foam ceiling tiles out so we could just rest the crown up there.
That's the real reason we got that perspex.
For a football stadium that's on the Humber Estuary, why the hell would we moan that they've not installed air conditioning? How many times in the last 100 years do we think we've actually needed that?
Well, more than
twice. Today, so this weekend, and there was a boiling hot game against, I think it was Port Vale about 4 or 5 years ago when we beat them 5-2, 5-1 or something. And that was the hottest I remember it being at Blundell Park. You need aircon that day.
So Hannah said, dress smart. So I said, well, I'm up here. All I've got is jeans. So I put my jeans on because you can't be that, you can't wear shorts in there when it's like 32 degrees. And by the end of it, I'm melting. Like Jack used a squeegee on my forehead, my ever lengthening forehead to cool himself off. But I didn't like it.
He had his shorts and t-shirt on, didn't he?
Yeah, no one told me. No one else did. Everyone else was in shorts and t-shirt apart from me in here.
Mr. Big Shot, he does what he wants.
Mm-hmm. Were they having you on, mate, do you think? Do you think you were taken for a ride? Do you think let's see Alex suffer? Do you think that's what happened?
My favourite bit was I managed to fizz up my Coke so it went everywhere. And I was the only one who brought food in at half time. And it stunk the place out with fried onions. So I'm sure I'll be invited back any day now. But anyway, it wasn't, it was a good game. And I don't know what everybody was worrying about. Should we do some proper stuff and then we'll talk about football? Because I was at the last two games. I saw Richard at the game yesterday. Didn't see Bruce.
Bruce was in all.
It's pre-season.
Getting his shoes on fixed.
He's down the card.
It doesn't matter. No, that won't appear on your official season tally of games. Open wide for some stop muting me.
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be in a stand more than my life around there. They're going crazy. Hey, they got penalty here. There'll be fish flying about there. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really good goal. You can't make it straight like that.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the DN35 podcast. Welcome to Rob, who said hello, and Ben. Rob wants to know if Mike's camera's not in the budget. I will get him a better camera, but at the moment, he was just sorting his hair out. P-Day says, good evening, lads, and Tim Hudbert is here as well. If you're watching us live, do feel free to drop a message in and say hello and tell us what you've been thinking about pre-season, because it is done. The Mariners finished off with a 1-0 defeat to Mansfield, and we have got 5 of us. We'll see how this works. Mike's already been I'll tell you something, Mike's the most optimistic of the podcast, and he's not even saying it will work, but I'm sure it will, because Sam has learned how to put his microphone on mute as the only person not currently on mute. But there we go. Gents, your thoughts on pre-season and what we've currently done business-wise. It would be great to get your thoughts. I was pleasantly surprised over the last 2 performances, but they're the only 2 I've seen. Has anyone got anything else to add?
Yes,
Yeah, I've been to 4 games this season. Sorry. Did I break the etiquette, Sam? I do apologise.
No. You were fine, Richard. You get a pass.
I was going to make another
Thanks,
point. I'm going to go at Bruce, but it can wait.
Okay, all right, okay. That's well, that I can never wait, but yeah, I've been to about 5, I think, 5 games: Cleethorpes, Grimsby, York, and the 2 others. And the 2 home games were definitely a vast difference to York, because York was dire, if I'm honest. But you know what? Tuesday night gave me a little bit of hope. We looked all right. We passed the ball around nicely. Charles Vernon suddenly looks like the player he was 5 years ago. How long that'll last, I don't know. Defensively, even though there was many times we tried passing out from the back and potentially gave most of the upper finders a heart attack, generally looked a little bit more solid. And I certainly don't feel as down as maybe I did a week or so ago. So, and as well, that maybe talk, Bruce, you are going to love the lower finders toilets. Honestly, the upgrade is immense.
Have we not got the Portaloos outside anymore?
No. The men's have been knocked all the way through. So
what, to the women's? Nice.
The women's, yeah, the women's are well. The women have now got their own toilet. It's amazing what these modern times bring. But yeah, we've actually got a decent sized toilet. I took my nephew to his first ever game on Tuesday night, and we spent 15 minutes of it in the loos because he needed a big poo. So I think he christened the toilets. But I tell you what, it was actually a fairly pleasant, time spending there. So good toilets, pitch looks good, main stand looks great, team look okay. I'm all right now.
And we'll be back next week.
I've got to say, I haven't seen the toilets. I did go in the toilets, and I thought it's probably the least few urinals you could get in that space. And there's a random wall in the middle, but at least it's an improvement. And Bruce, he's getting on in age, so he does need access to quick and easy facilities.
I'm all right. Thank you very much.
How many of the pre-seasons did you go to, Bruce?
I didn't go to any. They don't count. I've told you. It doesn't matter. It's not important.
Right, but you can't Brig and Cleethorpes in your grounds you've been to see town at, so you can't have it both ways. So,
Sam with a very good point there. The rare good point from Mr. Barrett.
No, well, that's true. I have been to those grounds. I've been to those grounds and I've watched town there, but I'm not bothered about pre-season games.
But you can't say, right, they count though, but these pre-season doesn't count now.
Right, have I visited that club's ground? Because I count the ground that I've been to watch town play. Have I been to that ground? Yes. Do I care about pre-season games? No. I do think, and it might be controversial, that maybe we need to mix it up a little bit and give some of our other neighbourly friends games in pre-season. We always start with Grimsby and Cleethorpes now, don't we? And I've lost a bit of interest in that, if I'm honest. I know it's nice for them, but
you'd rather go back to Brig,
Winterton and Brig, and a little out in the country for
Scunny
a pub dinner and that. If you choose to go, Scunny, yes. No, that's a shithole. That ground, it's rubbish, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's nice to give the little clubs a bit of chase. Have
you seen the photos that they take of like the ticket office, and they try and get down on the floor, and it looks like it's a garden, but actually it's the weeds in the drive, in the approach to the ground. It's just like they try and they make it look like they've got sort of Kew Gardens in front of it. and it's actually like sort of just some weeds growing up through the tarmac.
Have they left it and now they're calling it a bee-friendly area because they just haven't mowed it for a couple of years? They had to flog the lawnmower to pay Andy Butler's wages.
To pay for the shirt launch video.
They lost half of their budget on flags in that, didn't they? I saw it. They got like these 3 massive flags. That's at least half their playing budget.
It was good though. I don't like them, but it was a good video.
Oh, I didn't see it. Any thoughts on the games? I thought we played pretty well. I was excited by Vernon. I agree with Richard. I was slightly worried when someone went through the back of him yesterday and he stayed down for more than 5 seconds. I also enjoyed the announcement that Rose's substitution was pre-arranged and for no one to panic. And he was going off as an agreement with everybody else. And then your mate, is it Bruce, who does all the announcements, was just saying, yeah, he just needs an extra few minutes, which is fair enough. I'm quite liking these additional comments on it. I'm quite looking forward to them in January.
It still didn't work though, because somebody in the cricket club last night, me and Claire went across for a couple of drinks. I see fucking Rose went off injured again. Oh. So I had to repeat Kev word for word, apart from what I heard.
I just like the idea this is going to be added now going forward. Kieran Green has been taken off because he's shite, and he's been replaced by the next roll of the dice.
I can never remember such an overreacting. Is that a word? Summer. The amount of people there's people like chatting to each other in like their own little voids on Twitter, like sort of reassuring each other and little.
Oh, Matt Dannett and Mike.
Little words dropped in. I'm not mentioning any names, but they're like,
hang on, what the fuck are you on about?
And then they'll start
grenades,
like chatting to themselves a little bit. They'll tweet something, and then before anybody's had a chance to reply, there'll be another tweet linked to it, like with the next part of what they want to say. And I just feel for people that don't sort of take a break from it in the summer and just leave it until it really matters at Fleetwood when.
Says the man
Bruce,
who tweets every day.
Bruce, what happens, you might not get this, when you have friends and you talk to them, they talk back to you.
His videos talk back to him.
Yeah. They give me... do you know what, actually? I was just watching that video that you've just put on, the credits, and I was getting all depressed until right at the very end because every clip that was in that video until... the promotion at Solihull against Solihull, Town were in a higher position than they are currently, and I was depressed. But actually, I feel a bit better because we had the conference promotion on it, even though I didn't go. Did I, Mike?
Do you want me to just change it all out with goals from our games at I don't know
the 5-0 defeat? The 5-0 defeat at Braintree. That'd be a start.
Do you want me to put that in the video?
You're giving a false impression. Anybody that doesn't follow Grimsby would think we were still in the Championship from our intro.
Can I just point something out? Bruce has had a go at people moaning. Yeah, all he has done since he's been on is moan about not liking pre-season, and then even though he doesn't go, moaned about who we play in pre-season. Even though he doesn't go and it doesn't affect him.
Did I tell you
about people moaning? All he does is moan.
Right. Did I tell you my car boots? Did I tell you my car boot story last week?
Go on then, hit me. Which car boot was it?
We went to Pennell's, right? I'd seen the week before. Pennell's was good, right? So
is that any good, that one? Because I've never been to that one.
It was shite. It was rubbish.
Oh, shame.
Right?
Hemswell is the only one you should go to, honestly.
Me and Maisie got up last Saturday. I can't believe I didn't tell you this last Sunday because he's actually quite funny at my expense. Me and Maisie got to the car boot. I'd taken a few football programmes that were duplicates that I thought people locally might be interested in, and a few other bits of tat, and shit that basically we didn't want at home anymore. I'd been there for about 3 hours. We'd sold absolutely nothing. We'd had my football stuff had been dead popular for people that wanted to come up, have a read of it, and then walk off. Right? Maisie's got across to talk to a dog that she befriended.
Do you think he's there going, this is not a library, move on?
This bloke walked up, I'm not kidding, he flicked through one of the Saturday Telegraphs that I'd taken. I remember this, mate, this is quality, this. It was there about half an hour. I don't need to buy it now because I've read it. And he went off. Anyway, Maisie gone to chat to, we told nothing. Maisie gone to chat to this little dog and a woman that she befriended across the way who was suffering like we were. And I was getting a bit sort of, I felt like I'd been on a plane. So I got up and stood and leant against the car. This no word of a lie. This guy comes up and he goes, "How much for your chairs, mate?" And it was the chairs we've been fucking sat on. They weren't for sale. That was it. I'm not happy. We made £22, I think it was, in 5 hours.
My biggest
Has he
worry is that I
finished?
pressed
Has he finished?
pressed the last of the Summer Wine music, and I don't know if it played or not.
I have finished, yes.
Did it come
And then
through?
I lost money on eBay programs that I sold this week, so I've given up selling anything.
Why
apart
are you
from-
treating Grimsby Town programs like the stock exchange?
Apart from, I have got some stuff in this tub to sell, but we'll deal with this. We'll deal with that at the end of the pod.
Speaking of car boots, do you want to see what I bought? I think I put it up on Twitter already, but I got very excited. There were things from Grimsby at Hemswell Market. Look at it. It's fucking massive.
What do you do with that? Is it like a wall?
I don't know. Leanne is not impressed.
Is it a mouse mat? Is it a mouse mat?
It's a giant bar mat.
It's going on the front of the car at this rate. I don't really know what to do with it. So if anyone's got any ideas, please do message me, because it
They
is
forget
massive.
to paint it.
Well, I'd quite like it as it is, and if I paint it, it'll just look shite. Not to mention everything that needs to be painted white is now black. Is this? Well, you know what I mean. But anyone who's listening, it is a giant plywood Grimsby Town badge, which is very nicely done. Yeah, so
Talking about painting,
15 quid down the drain.
I've noticed from what the club's put out and watching the games online, there's been quite a lot of decent painting done on around the stadium. It looked decent from what I could see. What do you think, Youngie, when you were there? Does it look good? A lot of work being done.
Yeah, it does. The ground looks really. Yeah, a lot of work been done. The main stand looks great with the pillars out and the clear dug out as well. It looks like a genuine refurbishment. It's it looks a lot fresher, a lot nicer, and yeah, they've done a lovely old job on it. Well done to the trust and everybody at the club.
What I
favourite
noticed is
thing-
a lot of the white paint, which can get very dirty throughout the season, is now black, so it doesn't
Yeah.
look as run down and dirty.
Yeah,
My favourite bit
absolutely.
is they've now done what I wanted to do, which is those yellow gates. They've now stuck advertising hoardings on them, which I'm very impressed. Sorry, Richard.
Yeah, and that is a nice touch. And as well, the I think they're putting a roof over the fan zone as well, or further into the fan zone by the looks of it as well. So obviously, when the winter months comes and the weather's not so great, we'll have a bit of covering over there. So yeah, the good old job refurbing BP this summer.
They're using they're going to use Bruce's programs, and they're just going to paper mache them across a roof.
Why
Yes,
don't
Sam.
why don't I get some literature from the election campaign? We've still got loads of that left over. They can paper mache that over the top of it. It's good use of it.
The pitch looks banging as well, doesn't it?
I'm on it. Seriously,
When it starts raining, when it starts raining, you'll be able to tell the people that have been in the fan zone, Sam, they look like fucking Smurfs.
Could you imagine?
So do you imagine? Yeah, what's all this going on? But seriously, I'm looking forward to it because I've not had a clear view, Richard, of either goal. And this is my 19th season having a season ticket in the main stand, and I'm finally going to have one, and I'm very excited.
I do hope your post is still there. That's the one they didn't.
Hannah took that photo for us in the chat, didn't she? And put it in from my seat. It was great, and you could see both goals clearly. It was brilliant.
You'll be like one of them blokes who has laser eye surgery, won't you? It's like you know, it's a miracle. I can see the other side. Great. And then after 2 minutes, you realise I don't want to see it. It's okay.
The number of shots and penalty incidents and goals and goalkeeping clangers I've missed from behind those two posts in the last how many years is phenomenal. Oi, that's not my music.
Sam, what you don't realise is we've all clubbed together and bought Jack a season ticket in front of you. You won't be seeing nothing. You won't be seeing nothing, mate.
Oh, could we do that? I'm really disappointed as well, Bruce, because I really did try to get us to sponsor the away attendance number, but apparently someone else has already bought it. So I'm really sorry, Bruce. We did try.
That is a thing.
Yeah, they've now sponsored it. The announcement for the attendance is now a sponsored announcement.
I hope it's sponsored by Biffa Waste.
It was going to be the we'd like to thank the 300 away fans for coming. Sponsored. Thank you very much from Bruce Fenwick.
Well, yeah, what we were going to say was Bruce. Bruce
every
especially
game.
would like to say thank you so much for coming.
After Donny beat us 5, that I remember that I could hear it on the thing after. We'd like to say, we hope you've enjoyed your day and have a safe journey back to Doncaster.
Sponsored by Bruce Fenwick. Oh my God!
Thanks for coming. Hugs and kisses. All that. All my love, Bruce.
And then we'll get a video. What we'd try and do is we try and get a video of you. Like say the club want to do a profile on you and all the work is like the club's unofficial historian, and try and get a video of you doing like a little love heart, and then that could come up on the screen as they did it.
What's that song?
Bruce
Golden
giving-
Girls. Thank
Bruce
you for
giving a
being my
traffic
friend.
update
Just
before
play
you
that.
leave.
Can we talk about the football again?
No,
Um,
as you say,
yeah,
it's
that would
pre-season.
be
It don't
good.
matter.
Well,
I
so it
think-
does
I
now.
think
We're in the last
Georgie- I
week
think-
now.
I think Georgie in midfield's going to be a good player for us. I like the look of him. I've only seen the second half of the last 2 games, but I like the look of George.
Do you know what?
People
I've
are
only
desperately
seen
trying
him.
to get us to talk about football.
I've only seen him twice, and both times I've seen him, he's looked decent. And then that sort of reminds you that he has got a good pedigree, hasn't he, through Chelsea and England under 17s and stuff. So I would like to think he might come good this season.
My takeaway, as I say, I've literally seen the 2 second halves on TV. So I've
You
not
paid
watched
£5 just to watch the second half.
That's the kind of fan I am, Alex. Yes, the one that doesn't care about friendlies. Maisie,
Yeah,
Maisie,
that he's not
Maisie
bothered
was,
about. Yeah.
Maisie was moaning like mad that we didn't go. She was moaning at me because we hadn't gone.
I'd have taken it. You should have said.
Yeah. And anyway, she was moaning that we didn't go. Why haven't we gone? They're at home. Are they at home? Yes. Why haven't we gone? Oh. Anyway,
Because I'm
So-
a part-time amazing.
so we got the second. So we got the second half, but I thought that we didn't attack. I saw more of us attacking on Tuesday night than I did second half on Saturday. But I thought that when we did attack, this isn't a story. This is football chat. I thought when we did attack, we looked like we did it in greater numbers and with a bit more conviction than last year. And we did it a lot. And we looked a lot. We looked to get forward a lot quicker because last year our build-up and approach play was so slow. It was boring, and we looked like we actually wanted to attack this year. And there was some nice passes pinged about as well. And that was my takeaway from my 2 second half of friendlies.
He certainly looks like he can move the ball a lot quicker, which was a big problem we had last season, wasn't it? Moving the ball in transition. So if we can get him on the ball and get him playing forward, and then you've got Vernon and Yasin who looked on form as well. If we can move that ball forward, that's going to be a huge new part to our game that we didn't have last year.
It was a bit of a concern on Tuesday when Dave said he was allergic to grass, wasn't it?
I don't think he said he did allergic to.
Poor old Jason's got a grass allergy. He can only play on AstroTurf.
Speaking of that, one thing I did hear is the Icelandic lad has only ever played on 4G in Iceland. So he's come over here and it's effectively like an entirely new sport. And that's one of the reasons he's been rested a couple of times is his body is having to adapt to playing on grass because it's not as forgiving, I guess, as, you know, a top half decent 4G pitch.
That's what we were just saying.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, literally what I just said.
We were just chatting about that for 2 minutes. You put that stupid music on and you couldn't hear.
Yeah, sorry. Fuck's sake. I was trying to be all professional and everything. Go on, Sam, you're unmuted. What did you want to say?
I think the only genuine concern I have is the size of the squad and the injuries. The set spellers we've got to injuries. And what did we have? We had 6 players on the bench yesterday. 3 of them are young lads. So we are going to be the drop off from our first 11. I agree with the lads is that it looks like on the face of pre-season, last couple of games, however much you can read into that kind of burnt us last season a bit. Looks like we've probably improved in all sorts of areas over the pitch on the basis of the last couple of games. But if we get a few injuries, we are down to the bare bones quite quickly. But obviously, there's still time in the window to go. Yes, there's still time for that to be fixed. And and Dartel did suggest that one, certainly, probably maybe 2, should be over the line by next week.
Do we think that any of these young lads are genuinely quite close to the first team this season? I think Cam Gardner seems to be.
Yeah.
I don't count Corey as Corey's a real strange one for me because he's not a young lad anymore, and he's been around the fringes for quite a long time, and hopefully, people say that he's played quite well in the last couple of games. Hopefully, this can be his proper breakthrough season, because I think he needs it. He got a few games last year, and then I think he got injured, didn't he? Or he got injured, and then this has got to be. You can't keep calling him a young lad, and he must be. What is he? 20, 22, 20, 21, 22, 23? I don't know, but he's not. It's not 17 anymore, is he?
I think what the thing is with him is he's young in terms of how much he's played. He hasn't played a lot of football. So he probably is an 18, 19-year-old in terms of how much football he's played. But I think from listening to Artelli, he fancies Cribb as somebody that could probably make it by the sounds of it. And Sam, you're quite right. 1 to 11, maybe 1 to 13. We look like we've improved, absolutely. But during a season, form goes and people get injured, and I don't think we've got the strength and depth yet. Looking at that midfield, if you've got Green and Corey in there as your two main midfielders, I think you've got a problem if you're having to do that for 2 or 3 months of a season. You've also got only 2 recognised wide players. Charles Verdham's had injuries in the past. Yassin's new to English football, so you need a bit of support there. And then only Danny Rose in our forward line has ever done anything of any note, really. So probably need another midfielder, 2 wingers and a striker as an absolute minimum, in my opinion. But definitely the 1 to sort of 1 to 13, if you like, is definitely stronger than it was last year.
I'm still mindful, though, of the last summer, when the only pre-season game I saw last summer was the game in Spain, admittedly. But of people raving about Harvey Rodgers and Toby Malarkey and even Jake Eastwood saying they're absolutely phenomenal, they're going to take us on to another level. And then Rodgers first started the season quite well, but then the drop-off from there on in was a real problem. So I'm really reluctant to say on the basis of a couple of pre-season games, we have improved. I mean, it may well be true. I'm just kind of reluctant to race that judgment.
That's why I say, looking at what I've seen, we look like it, but that's all we can do. We can't look into the future, but on the basis of what we've seen, the evidence in front of us, that's how it looks.
I think certainly that defense
looks a lot stronger. And the goalkeeper, which was a big issue, brought in a highly rated goalkeeper from League One. He might be shit, but on the face of it, he's an improvement.
We are going to concede a couple of howlers between now and October, is my prediction. Not because he's terrible, but just because we are playing out from the back, and it does look. He had one against Rotherham where we nearly conceded, and then there was a couple yesterday where if Mansfield didn't have Toblerone boots on. And by the way, if you're a Mansfield fan, I'd be slightly worried for you this season, because they didn't look anything, like the team that we played last season when they ripped us to shreds.
Even the game we drew at home at the start of last season, when Abu put us ahead early doors with that worldie, they outplayed us for the remaining 75 minutes or whatever it was. They were brilliant.
Yeah. The point that Bruce said about Gardner, I thought Gardner on Tuesday night, especially playing on the right, looked a real kind of bright spark. He's raw, and his passing sometimes was a little bit wayward, but his energy was superb. And I know they were saying a lot of things about in training that he's already broken like Harry Clifton's fitness records and things like that in pre-season training. So clearly he's a big, strong, physical lad, especially for his age. Though when he came on Saturday, he looked a bit lost playing down the middle. There was a lot of kind of running around, kind of aimlessly, not really knowing where to put himself. I think as well, the one thing that stood out for me against Mansfield was the lack of physicality in the team as well. Like we looked again like a small team, and I know Mansfield are a bit land of the giants out there, but we looked a bit dropped off, and I do kind of worry when we get to teams that are going to physically impose themselves on us, that pretty football might not be enough.
Do you think that's why we tried against Rotherham and Mansfield, both physical teams? A Steve Evans team is probably as physical as you can get, apart from a couple in this league.
Well, the manager was the most physical on Tuesday night, wasn't he? He's such a panto character, and he's Steve Evans. God love him. He's there to provide us entertainment. But I didn't think Rotherham were that physical in comparison. They were direct, but I didn't think they were kind of overly physical. But yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe they were two kind of teams that have been picked for them reasons, to see how we kind of stand up against that. So But yeah, Mike and Sam have definitely addressed it. We are at least 5 players short, in my opinion. I think hopefully we'll get a couple in this week. Midfield has to be the priority. If Evan Curry and Green are starting on Saturday, I worry that we get absolutely dominated in midfield.
I think that's a really good point, Richard, about the height, because I don't think it'll escape many people's notice that we've conceded 3 or 4 goals from corners. And I know Artel says we've not worked on them, but generally speaking, as a professional,
I hope we have now.
If you play football, it's not something you've forgotten. Once you know how to defend a corner, it should be relatively easy to know what you're doing. Obviously, there's differences in who you're picking up, but that's irrelevant. And then when you look at who you would maybe think is the first team, you'd have probably McJanet and Tharm as the centre-back pairings, probably the way he wants to go. McJanet's not very tall, so you've got Tharm as the only sort of physical presence in that team. Danny Rose wins headers, but he's still 5 foot something. Midfielders don't look that tall. Wing-backs don't look that tall. So you're thinking in League Two, and they're starting to put things into the box, going to be a bit of a problem, I think.
Rose did look, to me, he looked kind of isolated on Saturday. But Burnham and Thorson are brilliant. They're really direct. If they play anywhere like that, we'll have some exciting football. They both played some nice little tricks down each wing. Thorson as well, kind of swapped between them, almost had a free run. And I assume we'll come on to Jordan Davies in a minute, but
he was looking for softer grass for his hamstrings, Alex.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, apparently he's only ever played on 4G, but they looked really good. But it did mean that Rose was quite isolated when you got Corey and Green. And I'll be honest, I thought Rodgers has played all right, in the 2 friendlies I've seen. But if we are going into a new season with Green and Corey and, Rodgers as our starting 11, that isn't a team. I don't know what our aims are for this season, but that isn't a team that is challenging from the playoffs or even with an outside shot. In my opinion, I hope to be proved wrong. I made everyone really sad.
No, I was going to let somebody else go. I was just going to say it's always an odd thing, though, isn't it? Because there's always teams in this division that you look at pre-season and think they're not going to do anything. Stevenage and Crawley, just to think of 2. And then for some reason, things just click. And we've seen players before change from season to season for no apparent reason, from being shite to being world beaters. I'm thinking of Rob Jones. Rob Jones, his first season here was terrible. Next season, he was a world beater. And I'm hoping players like Harvey Rodgers that have played at a higher level and are not, I don't think have given a good account of themselves while they've been here. I'm hoping they may step up and make a step forward this year. So you've got a bit of improvement, just instead of just all the new players being an improvement.
Yeah, I hope so. The only thing is they're the exception. They're not the rule, are they? So that's my concern. And I'm clinging to the same hopes you are, Mike. But, it's a 1 in 24 chance that we're that team.
I'm not saying I'm backing it. I'm saying I'm open for it, mate.
Yeah, it was quite an interesting one. I was expecting a lot worse than what we got. I was weird though, and one of the things I have mentioned in the past is how I used to like Hurst because he seemed to watch the same game I did. I thought we performed on Saturday really well in the first half against Mansfield, and then especially after we made that substitution for Carson, I think came on. We kind of they switched it around a little bit, as did we, and we were on the back foot throughout the rest of it. And then I hear Artel come in and go, actually, we're really poor in the first half, but in the second half, we were really good. I was like, oh, shite. What have I been watching? Because I was really concentrating.
No, they're not alone there. A couple of my friends texted me to ask them how it was, and they basically said, oh, yeah, I don't know. And the first thing they came back with was, I don't know what Artel saw regarding the second half being better than the first. They all said that we looked decent in the first half, but then faded in the second, probably got a bit tired playing up against the League One side. I don't know, the guys who've been to more games, are we unfit? Because that's something I've heard and read.
I don't think so. I don't think so. But then I'm watching Green in midfield lollop about, so I'm not sure.
I thought obviously your fitness should get better the more you get into pre-season anyway. And I thought most of the lads played at least 60, 70 minutes on Saturday without any real issue. So I've heard the same as you, Sam. I've heard that they weren't really working that much on fitness in training. It was a little bit of a concern, but it's certainly, and that's why maybe injuries were getting picked up as well. But maybe that's the classic, Grimsby rumour mill running wild, but certainly the last couple of games, I've not got any great concerns. Even, like I said, when Vernon is completing 80, 85 minutes quite comfortably, I think we must be doing all right fitness-wise.
Can I just play devil's advocate a little bit with what Artel said? Now, I do tend to agree with you, Alex. I didn't quite understand it, but I went back and listened to it after you said that to me, and I don't think he's talking about the game. I think he's talking about specific areas he wanted to look at. So I don't think he's talking about the game as a whole. I think he's talking about certain things that he wanted to see from the team. So, but I don't know if that's true, but that seemed to be how he was phrasing it. So he's from Rotherham, so I'll stick up for him. So.
Don't stick up.
I listened to his interview with Matt Dean, and I thought I quite liked what he said in his last couple of interviews. I've seen people saying all sorts of shite, and I think he thinks about his answers. He's not quite as veiled in his answers as Hurst is. He tells he's better for the press. He tells them a little bit more about players and people that he's interested in and stuff, and he doesn't deny things that are obviously true, which we used to get from Hurst. And that's not a criticism, that's just a different style of dealing with that. But it was quite funny. I think like Youngie just said about the Grimsby, whatever people say. And I saw somebody on Facebook, or it might have been Praise and Grumble on Facebook or something yesterday or morning. Oh, the deal for the Wrexham lads off. It's not happening. It's blah, blah, blah. And then they interview him after the game, and he's got no reason to lie. Oh yeah, we're still talking to him. We're hopeful to get something done. It's just like there will be the occasional filtered sort of little bit that comes through. But if you pay too much attention to what people say, there's a whole lot of drivel and crap that people spout. That it generally isn't true. But going right back to about 5 minutes ago. You were talking about like hopes and aspirations not aspirations, but what you thought might happen, and Mike was saying, what he hopes would happen. I think this season, more than any in recent times, I wouldn't like to predict what's going to happen. A couple of weeks ago, I didn't say it publicly, but I was like Youngie, I was concerned. But having watched the little bits that I've watched of the last two games, there's a bit to hope for there. We need to get a couple more in. And going back to what you were saying about us being a small side, that probably does concern me, because you would imagine that at the moment, if we get loan players in, generally they'll be the Wrexham lad sounds like young, but generally if we're going for forwards and stuff, they tend to be younger players. So are we going to sign anybody that's large and experienced? Because just being large isn't enough, is it, to deal with set pieces and things like that? You need a bit of nous and a bit of experience. So I don't know if we're not big. If we're not big now, I'm not sure that we're going to get big in this window, possibly, where we would sign a larger player from.
I think you're absolutely right, Bruce, about being big.
I'll play.
Young. I mean, Justin Abikwa was big, wasn't he? But he didn't know how to jump, because presumably he'd been way bigger than everybody else throughout the entire youth career, and therefore never had to. And also the thing about being big is how you compete at this level, isn't it? Historically, we've seen, going back over quite a long time now, the sides who get promoted, barring the odd exception, tend to be pretty kind of functional, attritional, not attritional would be the wrong word, but functional, physical type sides. And we're certainly not going to do that. And Artel's very clear about that's not how he wants to play. And he'll argue, well, I got a side promoted out of this level, division, playing a much more kind of fluid and less attritional style. I mean, time will tell if it works or not. I've got my own theories on it. It'll probably go one way or the other. I agree with Alex that there could be a couple of hair and scare and head in hands moment at the start of the season as we learn.
One thing I would say is they'll probably have all the data on the players about what their leap is as well. So it's irrelevant. I mean, you see Danny Rose, he doesn't look like he should win headers, but he does. So, benefit of the doubt, they may know that Mohamed Janet's got a bigger leap than Ronaldo or what have you. So who knows?
There's a case that if you're just physically smaller, you just can't mix it, can you, to the same extent as you can if you're a bigger lad? And that's just a kind of the leap thing. Yeah, I get that in terms of winning headers, but I think the physicality thing is sort of more, that there's more to it than simply winning headers.
I don't think the teams that went up last year, in the playoffs. I don't remember Crawley being a ridiculously big. I think you need a balance, don't you? You need it, and we probably do need a couple more. But what positions would you look for? Because are we happy with McJanet and Farm at centre back? Are we? The only thing is, the only caveat to that is that often it's not very often that you get a really big, skillful player. Are we looking for a lump that's just literally there to do a job? Because if we're trying to play football and we're trying to play through the lines, we're trying to play out from the back, then their footballing ability is going to be the first thing that he probably looks for, isn't it? And we might, are we going to where would we fit this bigger player? What do we want? Do we think maybe a larger midfielder, perhaps? We say we need a midfielder, don't we?
I don't think it's like you need a lump. I think it's just the amount of players we have, and granted, this is from watching online, so it might be depth perception and things, but the amount of players we have that are considerably under 6 foot, for example. I'm not talking about you need a 6'5", but you need a couple of 6-footers, I'd have thought, in this division to compete against some of these teams. All I can think of is Tharm. I don't even think McJanet looks 6 foot. He looks like Mars height, which was like 5'11".
Hopefully the keeper might come for a bit this year, though, because he is big, isn't he?
Well, he's 6'5".
He came for a couple yesterday.
Maybe it's because they're stood next to him. They look really small when I've seen them. That might be it. Because he's 6'5", isn't he?
Yeah. What I was going to say, though, we scored 2 goals from set pieces on Tuesday, but they were all from the knockdowns. They were from us reacting quicker to those in the box. And, I'm quite happy for that to be the case. It's not too dissimilar to the National League. It is about the knockdowns and the second attempts on the ball. So if we're quicker to react, then that's not a problem. My main problem yesterday was Rose looked really isolated. Tharson and Vernon stuck to the wings quite closely. They had a lot of chalk on their boots, and Corey Green didn't really get forward to support. But that might be what Jordan Davis does if he comes here online. We'll do.
I hope that's
where you need probably number 10, don't you?
I hope that's not the case, because last year under Hurst at home, that was awful to watch. Rose down the middle, and then you'd have Issa out on one side, and you'd have, I can't even remember, they're that memorable. You can't even remember
Vernon, wouldn't it?
Well, whoever you'd have somebody on the right, and they were miles from the centre forward, and we were going forward as a 3, but they couldn't play football together because they weren't near enough each other. It was just like what are we trying to do? How are we trying to score goals? So I hope to God it's not like that. And I thought a couple of times, might have been Tuesday when I was watching, Vernon seemed to come through, and it's maybe just the part of the game that I watched, but he did seem to be in the inside left position, where a couple of times where he was sort of running into the penalty area straight, sort of down the middle of the pitch, rather than coming in from an angle. So hopefully we can work together. And like I say, I did think I saw that, particularly on Tuesday, that we had players close to each other as we moved up the pitch, not a million miles up. How often have you watched Town in the last 4 or 5 years, and you're like, where are the options? You get a guy goes, under Hurst, we'd go down the right-hand side, wouldn't we? And the guy would be on his own, and then, where do I go now? And there'd be no centre midfielder showing for him. So, we'll go back, and then we'd go along the line, and then we'd try it down the left-hand side, and we'd reach a dead end, and then we'd go back and try and keep the ball, and it was awful to watch. So hopefully what I saw on Tuesday, or what I thought I saw on Tuesday, is how it's going to be. And I do think that Artel's style should mean that we commit more players forward when we're attacking that have got an intention of attacking, and they work as a unit more, because hopefully what you saw yesterday was not the way it's going to be.
Yeah, the key is we're going to need a number 10. That if you're playing that kind of wide forward role, you need that attacking midfielder that's going to kind of link between your defensive midfielder and your attack. I think Ainley might be that person, but I do find it a little strange that Ainley's only been getting kind of 20 minutes over the last couple of games. I'm guessing it might be still a fitness thing with him. But when he does come on, and especially on Tuesday night, you can tell he's got something about him. There's clearly a really good attacking player. And I think he changed the game a bit on Tuesday. He came on and he gave Rotherham something else to think about, and we got something out of it in the end. You mentioned about Farm earlier as well, and you said, Bruce, about are we looking for big lumps, or are we looking to kind of get players that are going to play football? And I think Artel will be looking at the latter. But the one thing we haven't seen Farm do is play in a back four. When we signed him, he was in a we played him straight into that three, didn't we? He was with Rodgers and Malarkey. And when you play in a three, you don't have to be so much of a footballer, do you? It's more about kind of being in the middle, heading things away, just doing a job. My maybe concern about Farm is that I'm not sure that there's a ball playing centre back there. So what is Farm's job going to be when he does come back?
Maybe he is the stopper. Maybe he's the one that does that. And because a couple of times yesterday, McJanet carried the ball out of defence, didn't he? Carried out of defence into what you would call a deep midfield position before giving it. So he looks quite comfortable carrying the ball. So I'm quite interested to see what happens over the next few weeks. You know what it's like as the week goes on, you get more and more optimistic, don't you, as you get excited towards the first game of the season and that.
I'm a bit worried about McJanet. I've just looked him up and it told me he was 5'7", which cannot be true. So his stats just must be wrong online. In terms of Tharm, though, I'd have expected, considering
here he goes.
Yeah, I forgot. I love Tharm, don't I? I would have thought in terms of when we recruited him, it was after Artell had been in. They would have surely looked at how he is with the ball to feet. I can't imagine that when Artell came in and he was looking to change the squad, he went for somebody that couldn't do that, or couldn't do it to some extent.
Because he was signed, wasn't he, in the midway through the January window when he was still kind of trying to implement his methods onto us before it was unceremoniously abandoned. So there will be something in that. I think, honestly, Rich, I think he did play 3 or 4 games in the back four because I think he came. Did he start before the Notts County game? And then
that's the point. He scored on his debut, didn't he? That was
then he went off injured,
didn't he? And then he went off in, and then we got spanked. Yeah.
He did say when he joined that there was some interest in the previous summer, so I think he was one of these Joe Hutchinson players that didn't get sort of taken off the list by the management that we've heard about. So you'd have thought he would tie into that in some way. Basically, he's a legend. So
a legend.
Yeah.
And I got ridiculed for liking Michi Effetti, but
rightly so.
Yeah.
That
train keeps going round, doesn't it?
Is he all right, Sam?
Is
Is Michi all right, Sam?
He's. I don't know.
Has he been in touch?
Bruce. I don't really know Bruce, to be honest with you, because I'm a Grimsby Town fan. So at the end of the day, Effetti left the football club, and that was the end of it.
Do you know where he went, Sam?
Are you not pen pals anymore then?
Ross County, I think. So. It's in the same way that I don't. In the same way, I haven't paid any attention to Shrewsbury's pre-season or anything like that.
Well, you're not a proper fullback fan because I know exactly where Anthony Glennon's gone.
Yeah, I lost a bet over that. I said to one of my friends, I'm definitely going in. There's no way that bloke gets a league club because he's he's a complete liability defensively without any pace. And he signed for bloody Newport midway through the election campaign. Yeah, wonderful afternoon, that one.
And then Holohan turned up at Crawley in League One.
I love Gav, but he's got the best agent in football.
I love the guy as well. But I couldn't believe that.
I thought it was a parody Crawley account when I saw that had been tweeted. I thought that right.
Good luck to the bloke. Good luck to him.
Well, everyone laughed at Crawley last season, didn't they? And if a League Two club had signed Holohan, I'll be honest with you, I'd have gone. They might be struggling a little bit this season because I thought in the last third of last season, Gav looked done as a league player.
Surely Gav is a better addition than Malarkey, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think that's a bit harsh. I think he could have
figures from Malarkey.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it? Thanks very much.
Do you know Footy Manager when you make another manager
Ask
to come
for
buy
more.
all your shit players?
You're doing this. Do you think they're doing this? They're just getting the door shut and like. Yeah, I think that's what they did.
I know what you mean, Mike. When you used to join us, Man United, and you'd buy have your own team, you'd have Man United, and you just have a couple of
Tony
weeks
Gallimore
where
for
you just give yourself like £100 million injection or whatever until the Man United board start going. Are you sure about this? Are you sure about this? Oh, resign, retire.
But they'd let you do it, wouldn't they? They'd let you do it.
He's retired after 3 days in the job.
Yeah.
I think that is a bit harsh on Holohan, though, Sam. I think he could have done a job for a lot of League Two teams, to be fair. I don't think last season was his best season, but...
No, I don't, by any stretch of the imagination, and you could tell it was affecting him as well. He was one of the few players of last season's squad who you could tell actually cared. I thought genuinely, and the way he stopped taking those chances and so on towards the end of the season. Maybe he'll get back into form, but I just don't think he's a League One player. Just laughable concept that is.
How old is he? Is he about 32, 33?
34.
33, I think.
34? Yeah. I think Crawley might go. I think Crawley might come straight back down.
And there's a reason.
Crawley, the £4 million in debt apparently, and they've sold all the players. Everyone who took them up is gone. All the main players is gone, and they're clearly just they're already preparing for relegation by the looks of it. They're already kind of accepting that this year is just a consolidation year. Try and get some money back. Try and save some money and go back down again.
I think I said the other week, has anybody told them they actually won the playoffs? Because they don't look like it. I think they'll come straight back down. I don't think that's got anything to do with the fact they've got Holohan, but I think they will come. I think they're preparing to come straight back down, aren't they?
I wonder how our mate is, Alex. Crawley lad.
What AI guy?
I wonder if he's
doing
still.
all right.
I wonder if he's still depressed.
He asked if we wanted to join him for a beer at the last game of the season. I felt really guilty because I hadn't really gone back to him.
He obviously hasn't.
You didn't tell anybody else, did you?
Since he was on.
You didn't tell any of us
sorry.
that we'd been invited for a beer.
No, well, he said, "Are you guys around?" And then I didn't reply because I was with you lot talking about cricket, I think.
No, you were too busy spending all the afternoon, Mike, telling me, so when's the election going to be? When's the election going to be? When's the election going to be? Are you doing
I need to put a bet on. I need to put a bet on. I need to put a bet on.
So Jordan Davies is rumoured to be coming to us. I've had 3 well-known Wrexham accounts come to me and say he is coming to us. So they seem to be more loose-lipped than most clubs. So I assume that might well happen.
He'd be a great signing. Notwithstanding, I think he scored twice in the playoff semi-final game. But generally speaking, I thought even then he looked a cut above. So
they said,
has he been injured?
Said he had an exceptional season in 21-22, which is the season we came up in the National League. 21 goals in all competitions before some very, very tough personal circumstances. I think he lost a child. He lost a baby, and I think his grandfather was quite ill. I think actually they went through it when there was the Town game, the last game of the season. I think he was one of the people that they spoke to, like interwoven between us dicking them. And he was talking about the struggles he went through. He scored 21 goals that season. He never really got a proper chance to sign after that in 22-23, but still think he could have a future at Wrexham if he goes out on loans and proves himself. Only reservation they have with him is that he doesn't really not necessarily know what his best position might be. They think he might be better suited as a central attacking midfielder with a free role, but the impression they get is he prefers to be a more deep lying midfielder. A lot of Wrexham fans seem to think he's lazy, but the opportunity in games he's had, I think it's hard to come into them and look good. So I think we might well have a diamond in the rough there if he comes to us on loan.
I noticed something interesting from Artel's interview. He was non-committal on whether it was a loan or a transfer. And I don't know if that's just nonsense.
Got to spend that malarkey money's burning a hole in his pocket.
Well, he was asked would that be a loan, and he didn't answer. And I thought if it's not going to be a transfer, then you would just say yes, it's going to be a loan. And he said let's just wait and see what happens there. So I thought that was interesting.
It might be there. Sorry, I'm gone.
How cagey he was about that particular factor when he'd been so open about the rest of it. I was listening to it taken aback, given the kind of comparison to what we've had for years before that, when Hursty would just outright lie about transfers, let alone be cagey with them. Sorry, Bruce.
He's right behind you.
That might be that the type of transfer though might be a key part of the negotiation, perhaps. So maybe he didn't want to elaborate and say, oh yeah, it's a loan. If Wrexham have been pushing for a permanent and he's trying to get the club to do that, do you know what I mean? That could be a key part of the transfer, couldn't it? And the negotiations.
From what I've heard, if we can put a good word in about McAtee, then I think we might get it over the line because they seem desperate to want to sign him up. And all good luck to him.
It does sound by all accounts that he has a good relationship with Sean Pearson, doesn't it? Which might be the catalyst for him coming here over maybe other teams. Because I look on the face of it and I think he should be probably playing in not a bigger, but in a different team that way on in the country. There's plenty of teams that are closer to home they could be playing in. So maybe it's Pearson that's won the deal on that.
Put him off.
But it's a long way, is what I'm saying, with a family.
Did anyone notice that Paul Mullen was in the latest Deadpool film? I didn't see a moment when someone gently breezed past him and he exploded into dust. So not very accurate.
I went to see it, and they don't reveal it on the film. He's under the mask, but obviously I've seen the footage from afterwards, and apparently it was Mullen was the one filming it. But there was no diving around, there was no shithousing towards anybody. Very disappointing. They say that actors struggle to play themselves. He struggled in that. Disappointed in the boy Mullen.
I'd be grateful we have to play against him this season, though. I mean, because he scored against us.
I've never had to play against him.
He's been a thorn in our side for years, that bloke, in various games. He must have been around. He's been around quite a long time now, hasn't he? Annoying us and being horrible.
Used to be another Paul Mullen, didn't there?
Did that?
Used to be another. Yeah, used to be. I'm sure there used to be another
Accrington Stanley. Yeah, used to play for Aki Stanley.
Oh,
there you go. Anyone got anything else to add? We will do a preview, I hope, before the Fleetwood game so we can have a chat about it.
Bruce needs to change over his calendar.
Bruce needs to change over his calendar. Hang on, Bruce.
I haven't done it.
Hang on. I've got my little thing, I need to change it because it's a bit boring.
Told us last time.
I told you.
Hang on.
It's not working. What's going on? That is a terrible one. If Bruce changes his calendar, Bruce.
It's the
Who we going with? Danny Rose.
Danny Rose, the man for August.
The Barnsley Bonetta.
We've got somebody that's still here.
There's a beautiful set of teeth.
Turkish special.
What a man!
I was say, Rich, I was just thinking that they're not there. They aren't.
The only
Bruce,
problem
you've got older calendars.
The only problem is after September, I'm not going to. After September, I might as well throw it away because none of the rest of them are here.
So what we need to do is work out which one of your older calendars syncs up with the days you have. You've got the older calendars there. Please show us who you've got for August. So Bruce is taking out one of his calendars.
All right.
A long feature.
1996.
1996. I'm going with Gary Childs.
Oh, bless him. Peter Handyside.
Oh, bless. What a man.
Would have been his 50th birthday the other day. That's him.
It would. Right. Let's have a look. August. Now we're getting into your era, Alex.
Bradley Allen. Yes. What a man. I'd have him up front any day.
I was going to say, you think a man like Bradley Allen was a bit of a fringe player here as well, don't you?
He was amazing. I loved him.
Alex Hunt. You don't know what year that is. Not that long ago.
Well, it's not 92, is it?
2004.
I was going to say, tell us a year, Bruce. Otherwise, people listening, you just say random people's names.
Right, 2004.
2004.
Aidan Davison Mark II. Not as good as Aidan Davison Mark I.
He's at Wrexham, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
I've heard that so many times from different people. Aidan Davison, when Dad and Vic had made their best ever Town 11. Oh, Aidan Davison Mark I specifically. It's a big thing. I don't really understand why.
He was cursed by that Bruce. That's why.
This is
quite
this
easy.
Is 1998, and as fate would have it, Aidan Davison Mark I.
What does Aidan Davison scream that it means August?
He must like August, mustn't he?
He's the man for all seasons.
How many calendars have we got here, Bruce?
He has been alive an incredibly long time.
They're an absolute.
I've got
1945.
Right, we're going August.
Oh, that's a surprise.
2019. Remember Elliot Whitehouse, that Grimby Town legend.
The best assist you've ever seen.
But he was shit.
Best assist you've ever seen.
Say that,
Burnham at Colchester.
Right, Right, okay, I've got a game for you. Right, we're going 2021. More or less shit
This is
than
great.
Elliot White.
This is an amazing game of play your cards right. We need to do this.
I'm going
You get-
less,
you
less,
You get nothing for
slower.
a pair.
More
Yeah.
or less
Higher or
shit.
lower?
I'm going.
Lower.
Who's going more shit?
I'm saying they're
Higher.
less shit because I don't see how they can be worse than White House.
I
they
think
all
higher
are.
because I don't think White House was that bad. They weren't great.
I'm
They
going
weren't
lower.
shit.
I'm joining Richard. So Mike and Sam have gone higher. I'm going
Higher.
lower with
No.
Richard.
You're
The
gonna
next
love this.
person's going to be worse, is what I'm saying.
Okay,
All right,
Mike.
No, I'm
So
saying
everybody else is the opposite, yeah?
Let's go with that.
I'm thinking better.
Montel Gibson.
I fucking told you. Get in.
Oh, that is the trump in the pack.
That's ironic there, isn't it? Because you did a Montel Gibson reveal party there, didn't you? Just like when he had.
Right. This is an
That's
easy
funny,
one
Sam.
then.
That's a
Right, here
niche
we go.
gag that's a niche gag for our listeners.
Higher or lower than Montel Gibson?
Well, it's got to be lower. There's nobody worse than him.
Hang on, Mike's doing this the wrong way around.
There is.
So
there is
are we
Paul
going
Di-
for
Paul Dix-
better
Paul
or
Dix
worse?
is worse. There is
Worse
Paul
is
Dix
higher.
worse.
Their shitness
This
is
is
higher.
2022.
We're just going with better and worse. So who's
right.
saying they're better than Montel Gibson?
Oh, the better.
Surely better.
Yeah, everyone's going better. Go on then, Bruce.
Mishia Fete.
Oh
Yes.
no, we got it wrong.
It's debatable. It's debatable.
Oh, piss
Right,
off
your
the
last
pair
one.
of you.
Hey,
It's not an
you're
open and
better,
shut case. What are you on about?
It bloody well is. It bloody well.
Right, this
Misha
is-
Fetty was part of a promotion-winning squad, an FA Cup quarter-final making squad. Montel Gibson was would make a worst
Yeah,
ever town
well,
11.
Montel
Right, this is the
Gibson
last
just played at
one.
Hereford.
this is for your prize.
So better
This is
or
20
worse than
this is-
Michel Fete?
This is
Oh, worse.
This is 2020.
It better be
Better or
good.
worse
They're gonna be better.
than Mishia Fete.
Worse than
Better.
Misha.
Okay, worse. I'm going worse.
I'm going better.
Better.
I think you'll be on the fence. Harry Clifton.
Oh, better.
Oh,
course
better.
it's bad.
Better.
Better.
Yeah,
Better.
better. Yeah.
Sam's even in agreement there.
That's the end of the game.
I'd say that's debatable. But,
Bruce,
This is a
calendar
great
playing
game.
my
hang on.
cards
I
right
mean,
is
smug.
beautiful.
Sam thinks that's debatable.
He's wrong.
I'll tell you what.
But-
Next time we can do that. We'll do it next time. We'll do that from the start in September. We'll do that from the start. I think there's a full pod in that. There's about 30 calendars there.
Oh yeah,
the game-
in my dad's office at home, Bruce. There's an absolutely enormous pile that I'm inevitably going to inherit one day.
What,
I'll be able to
Playboy?
No, with Grimsby Town
Better,
calendars.
better or worse than Maria Whittaker? Sam Fox. Boom.
I don't know who Maria Whittaker is.
Who's Sam Fox?
Kathy Lloyd.
Oh, that's bad.
Who's Sam
Come on,
Fox? Oh my god. These
Oh.
Even I know who Sam Fox is.
Ugh.
Oh.
You've not explored the internet a lot, have you, Sam? Which is surprising if you don't know who Sam Fox is, because you will have come across her.
Got yours. Yeah, because you must have put your own name in. Don't say Barrett.
But my surname's not Fox.
Do you think Sam has Ed Ballsed himself at some point where he's typed it in?
Has he done what to himself, sorry?
You know when Ed
Excuse me.
Balls typed in Ed Balls in
Don't what with Ed's balls.
Yeah, I thought you said something else, sorry.
Ed Balls thought one afternoon he was searching his own name on Twitter and accidentally tweeted his own name. So it's a kind of like a Twitter meme of Ed Balls Day every year.
I think you're the sort of person that's done that.
I don't tweet my own name. God, I'm not
No,
that,
you
I'm
Googled
not that
yourself,
vain.
Anything
I've
else?
I've Googled myself recently to make sure there's nothing on there that could inhibit my future employment prospects.
Oh, give me 10
Unfortunately,
minutes, I'll sort that out.
We can change that. Yeah.
That's a hell of a pod.
Hours of archive footage.
Rob Clark is very impressed with you, Mike.
I thought that deserved more than it got, to be honest, and I just
Sorry,
thought I'd
man.
let it go past. You know,
I like my
Well,
Montel
anything-
Gibson joke, but no one else seems to find that funny. So
oh, actually,
Anything else?
I think we were all getting excited with the calendar game. I think that we were all speaking at once, weren't we? There was a giddiness appeared. Alex looked more excited about anything on the podcast than I've seen for a long time. In just when he thought there's a game here, this is it's on. This is our national whatever it is awards. This is our nominated pod.
This
I ain't
is,
seen him as excited as that until last time when somebody popped a picture of Alan Poughton in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah,
He's
we'll be on the
amazing, man.
NTAs. First time in 20 years that Ant and Deck don't win.
It would just be us God, could you
Just us
imagine?
like that. Stood behind Jack and nobody will see us.
Who wants to come to the National Television Awards? I'll come. Sam's going, no, you can't come. You've only been on 3 pods in the last 3 years.
Yes. And right, he would be.
Right. Anyone wants to add anything else before we move on?
Oh,
Just,
move on.
I am consistent with this because
What we're moving on to?
I'm operating a similar policy because we're having a thank you for the campaign party in a few weeks, and I'm operating a similar policy for that. You had to do a certain number of days.
You lot love your parties, don't you?
To a certain number of
too
days
much, if anything.
campaigning, in order to qualify to come to this party. But yes, I'm fighting a losing battle on that one because, of course, I'm no longer actually employed, so I don't carry.
How is the job hunting going, Sam?
It's going. I've got.
When are you moving to Reform?
I've got something to do in the meantime. I've got something to do in the meantime to keep me busy.
Sorting out your dad's pile.
Piles? What?
No, he's still got those 6 months at work, hasn't he? Clearing the office on the taxpayers' money.
Oh, taking that poster down.
Get a job.
That map of Britain.
I've got.
Scrounges of society.
I'm working. I'm doing something tomorrow. But
Lay about, get a job.
repairing Rotherham. We'll go put some windows together.
That won't take him long. What are you doing in the afternoon?
He's selling selling some shoes from O2 and Shoe Zone out of the back of his car.
I do hope that my next job is not in Parliament, so therefore you can.
So do we.
So you can not throw because I'll be neutral then, and all of a sudden I've got an easy rebuttal every time you have a go at me.
Sam, I don't know anything about politics, right? But unless you change parties, your next job's not to be in Parliament, is it?
Well, there are still a significant number of Conservative MPs. We weren't wiped out off the face of the earth like we.
Yeah, but they're getting the cream of the crop, aren't they?
Yeah, but you lot will be clambering around and kissing arse like there's no tomorrow. Around them.
Yeah, they get to pick whoever they want, don't they? Really, as their team. You're not going to get in that.
Yeah, I'm afraid
that's just deeply offensive, Alex.
I'm afraid you're too politically incorrect for that. You need to stand out from the crowd, Sam.
Yeah, you need to
stand out from the crowd. Oh, well, I'll do that, but not necessarily in a good way.
Sam's going to be a civil servant, isn't he? You just know that.
He is.
Join the club, Sam. It's a great club, the civil servant club. I've been milking it 25 years, mate. It's great. Come and join.
He'll be running something in 5 years, like the head of the IMF or something in 5 years.
Could you imagine that?
We're running for county
It
line.
doesn't like wrestling.
Sorry.
Doesn't matter.
Do you like wrestling?
I think we're nearly done, aren't we?
Well,
one more thing.
We do have to do a one show sort of transition and just, end the show by paying our respects to Craig Shakespeare, his friends and his family. Only 60 years old, obviously former Mariner, played over 100 games for Town in the 90s. Bruce, Rich and I will probably have better memories than others of him playing. Bruce, have you got anything to say on it before we finish for the evening?
No, not really, mate. Just another bloody one gone too soon, isn't it? 60s, like with Andy's side at 49. It's just sad, mate, isn't it? It's just sad. It's a long time since he was at Grimsby. It was funny. He was a funny player. He sort of quite quietly went about his job. In a team of, he played with the sort of the Bonettis and the players that were sort of the ones that got the attention. I would say he went under the radar a little bit, perhaps not dissimilar to Jim Dobbin. Dobbin scored a couple of good goals that he got attention for, but they were just very good players in a good town era, really. But like I say, they were the ones that did the dirty work a little bit more, a little bit like Caldecott. Latterly we he used to get a bit of sort of attention of a negative sort, didn't he? And then once he'd gone, we realised how much we missed him. But yeah, it's very sad, mate, and live every day, and if you can, isn't it? Really, is the motto, because you just never know, do you?
No, I just make one point. I know I didn't see him when he played for Town, so I didn't know him from those times. But something Bruce says just reminded me about him maybe not getting the credit or the notice or etc. And I think that's very true for his coaching career as well. I know from within the game he's very highly thought of for playing more than his fair share in that Leicester Leicester City team that won the Premier League and never really got the credit publicly for it. But I know he's very well thought after for that. So as well as just a great town legend and what have you, he was a great of the game generally as well, especially with his coaching.
And they all commentate on I've seen nearly all the players that are still playing, Maddison, Grealish, people like that. I've seen them saying that, and like I say, and Nigel Pearson did a really nice piece, didn't he? Or a really nice tribute. And they mentioned his sense of humour, which as fans we wouldn't see. And apparently he was absolute brilliant in the dressing room, off the pitch, with the players, both as a coach and as a colleague. So sad.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can only extend our thoughts to his friends and family. That's it. Fleetwood coming up. Who is going?
Yeah, me and Bruce, we're off on a Blackpool weekend.
Aren't you, Sam?
Yes.
No, I've otherwise engaged that day.
He's taking that poster down.
Yeah, it takes a while.
I'm sorry I couldn't make you. I'm sorry. Sorry I couldn't make you wedding.
My attendance in August is going to be shocking. No, my attendance in August is going to be shocking. After 2 brilliant years of doing nearly 40 games in the last 2 seasons, it ain't going to be half as good as that this season. Sadly.
Well, we hope you can make some games, Sam, even in your unemployed status.
I'm hoping to make some games, yes. But
can I ask your season ticket?
Mm-hmm.
What did you purchase it under? Did you purchase it as an adult or unemployed?
Well, the honest.
He's already told us this.
The honest answer to this question is that Anti-Lunch went to the ticket office about
as a child
a week before the election was called, when we all thought he was going to call it in November. So I had no choice. I had to pay him because when my ticket was bought, I was employed.
I thought you said to us last week you're still employed.
Well, I'm still employed.
So you wouldn't be able to get it anyway. So.
No, well, I'm available for hire. I don't really know how you can describe this sort of limbo. I'm in some sort of limbo phase, really.
I've got an idea. If anybody sees Sam at home or an away game, just throw any loose change you've got at him. Pennies, 2p's, just throw them
anything you want. It's no problem. A couple of pennies,
salad, unwanted children, just
old 5p's. They're quite weighty, aren't they?
It is a shame you're missing this one, Sam, though, because it is going to be a particularly good weekend, pre-match, obviously.
Air show as well, Bruce. You get to watch some planes.
It'll turn round.
Not
It'll turn round. It comes up and down.
I trust it'd be a great weekend, but I wasn't able to even go even before this because something else had cropped up. So I was always out the first day of the season. What was I going to say? But no, it should be a good day. Anti-Lunch is going. Bruce, say hello to her for me.
Yes, I don't know that Anti-Lunch will be in the sort of places that we're going, but yes, if me and Youngie bump into her,
so you're Anti-Lunch in a strip club.
I'm sure we shall say hello.
I'm thinking about doing kickoff chicken. Red Arrows are on at 2:00. Can I watch the Red Arrows and still make it to the game on time?
I tell you what, you go to the game, look up, and then look down when they've gone past.
But Fleetwood's it's quite far away from Blackpool in that sense.
Get some binoculars.
Let's go.
There's no station at Fleetwood. You have to get a tram.
Yeah, you got to get a tram.
From Blackpool to
yeah.
Don't know why I know that. I've not been since about 2000. I went the first season we were in the conference. What was it? 2000.
Is that when Vardy scored?
Yeah, Vardy. No, I was there when Vardy scored. Yeah.
I was Tuesday night game. I went to a Tuesday night game.
When that absolutely awful penalty decision was given against Anthony Church when we were winning 1-0 and looking in no trouble. Yeah,
I might have been twice. I think I went to both of them.
Because there was a 3-0. We lost 3-0 one afternoon when Mickey Cummings got sent off. I think it turned out to be Woods' last game, actually, if memory serves me correctly, in the sort of January or February of 2000 and the first conference season.
No, I think Chasetown was Woods' last game, wasn't it? That was the classic. It was all over for Woodsy after Chasetown.
If you say I can't, I don't. I'm not confident enough to argue that.
There we go. Well, thank you all for listening. For those of you who hung around, One thing I could request, can you please download it on your old podcasts as well if you've watched it live, just because it makes us a few pennies, leave reviews and all that rubbish. And if anyone's got any ideas what I can do with this massive Grimsby Town badge, then please do let me know, because I have no idea. Maybe we could use it as a winner for Bruce's new calendar. Play your cards right. Play your calendars right.
Yes.
Live on stage.
Play your players right. Maybe we'll have to
Play
think of
your
a name
players.
for it. But we've got a month to think of a name, haven't we?
Yeah, true. Well done. Well, Grant, thank you, everybody. We shall see you all soon. Enjoy the last bits of the summer before it all starts again in earnest on Saturday.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be in a stand more than my life around there. They're going crazy. Hey, they got a penalty here. There'll be fish flying about there. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! Really, really